Hello and welcome to another bonus episode of The Measured Pencil.
Bonus!
That was Wes Nelson. I'm Stephen Murray. We have something that we haven't brought up on the podcast yet. Wes, what is your day job?
I am a full-time manifesto writer.
Does that pay the bills?
Just kidding. I am a jack of all trades for a company. A lot of my work is office management.
And you know what, listeners? In a past life, I too was an office manager.
No.
Actually, twice. A lot of an office manager's time does end up dealing with office supplies.
Yes.
And I love office supplies.
Me too. I love it.
Here we are doing a mechanical pencil podcast. So I want to ask you, Wes,
Yeah.
if you had your druthers, which mechanical pencil would you be supplying to your office?
The Zebra M701.
Ooh, that's an expensive buy.
I know. I don't know why. That's like the first thing that popped in my head.
Nice.
I like the idea that everyone gets their own, and it's like something that I would buy, and then I'd maybe even get like their name engraved on it, and then I would go around because I need to feel special and I need to feel validated. So I'd go around and like hand deliver them to each person at their desk and spend like 5 minutes talking to them about it, going over the features of it, something like that. I don't know why. That's the first thing that popped in my head. How about you? What would you do?
See, I always worked for a nonprofit.
Okay.
So it was such a rabbit hole. Everybody has opinions about pens and pencils.
Yeah.
And mostly that none of them are good. They all have their own personal one that they want. So
Yes.
I would end up picking one brand and going with it.
Yeah.
And there was no debate over what we're going with.
Yeah.
And it was generally a budget choice.
Yep.
But also at the same time, I had to pick something that wasn't completely terrible.
Right.
Or nobody would use it.
Yeah, and then you just end up buying more.
Right.
Yeah.
Of the wrong thing, and they just sit in the closet. It can't look cheap, but people have to recognize what it is.
So it needs some kind of brand.
It needs some kind of brand. So I was going over the current offerings out there. I would probably go with the Bic Extra Comfort.
Which one is that again? Can you remind us?
We haven't done it. It's basically the Bic Extra Smooth, but it has kind of a grip on it.
Oh, okay.
So they're like, oh, it's one better than the Bic.
Nice.
But it's still super cheap.
Yeah.
So, people they'll grab it and not think about it.
That's interesting you say that like everyone has their own opinion, because in practicality what actually happened when I would previously be purchasing office supplies is that I would just go with whatever people wanted.
Right.
Somebody would come up to me and have a strong opinion, and then I would just go get them, because I'm so much of a people pleaser that if somebody wanted something, I would just get it. I remember tracking down some rare notebook for somebody, and then somebody else had an opinion on, well, it needs to be this kind of gel type pen or something. And so by the end of the day, I was ending up buying like 12 different types of pens and 3 different kinds of notebooks and stuff like that. And some people wanted legal, some people wanted letter, and our office supply cabinet just got bloated.
Yeah.
Because I wanted people to be happy, and I was more focused on like, they're going to be more productive if they have what they like versus grumbling about it. But now that I'm thinking back, I could have pushed back a little bit more, but I don't know.
Well, how big's your office?
I'm thinking back to a time when it was like 30 to 40 people.
See, at this point, I was ordering for 100 people.
Oh, wow. So you couldn't even...
No,
it
there's no way.
possible.
And then I think I mentioned it's probably an upcoming episode, but this was 2008, so everybody wanted the Uniball Vision.
Okay.
Which is an awesome pen.
Yeah.
But they were like $8 a pen, and I was working for a nonprofit.
Yeah.
Now, if the president of the division wanted a box of Uniball Visions, which he did, to
Nice.
sign checks,
Yeah.
he got it.
Right.
But there wasn't like 6 boxes of them sitting in the supply cabinet.
Yeah.
Also, because here's the other thing, especially for us, we did all sorts of events.
Oh.
So somebody was always grabbing a handful of pens, and then they wouldn't come back.
Oh, to take to their events.
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
So if they grab, 3 boxes of a Bic stick pen,
Yeah.
or a Pilot stick pen that costs $1.29, it's not a $30 box of pens that's
Right.
just going out the door.
So did you run into situations where you were starting to think about locking the supplies up?
No. It was just, there's too many people, and I would have been just
Swamped with...
murdered.
Yeah.
Because there was constant events, constant this. I I probably had 12 dozen pens on hand at any one
Oh,
time.
wow. Okay.
And that could just be wiped out by one event, and I'd have to order it the next day.
Yeah.
That's also kind of the other magical art of being an office manager is my friend put it this way, where the president of the company had to, oversee everything.
Yeah.
The office manager is on the other side of that, having to kind of undersee everything. You had to know everything that was going on and anticipating, because you couldn't have somebody walk into the cabinet for an event and need to grab 12 dozen pens and them not be there, because they're not going to remember to order those in advance, because they have to do everything else in the first place.
I just had a cold sweat.
Right?
Yes, I'm having flashbacks of anxiety about those. Yes, no one remembers that the office supply cabinet was fully stocked. They only remember it when it was empty and they went to grab something and it wasn't there,
Right.
which is why I would almost on a daily basis go through and check the paper in the printer, and I would actually just reload it every day. I would just throw a new ream in or something like that, check the pens, because yes, it was like it was a thankless job. It was, you only got any sort of recognition when it was out. And,
Right.
oh my gosh, I'm just having vivid memories of those moments where my boss is just like, so how can we make sure this doesn't happen again? And it was like, I don't know. I guess I have to check this on a now hourly basis because I'm so paranoid now.
Yeah, I would do my rounds at least twice a day.
Yeah.
Check all the printers.
Yep.
Check the fax machine.
Oh,
The one thing I did keep under lock and key, because they're so expensive.
yeah.
Labels.
Oh,
Those add up so quick.
Yeah.
And again, for an event or a mailing, nobody's using just like 2 sheets.
Right.
They're using like 4 boxes.
yes.
And that's like, that could easily be $150.
Yeah.
Just for labels.
Those boxes of Avery labels.
Yeah.
And you got to get the template.
Yeah. And you got to get
Yeah.
Avery.
Yep.
You can't get the off brand.
No, because you got to go to their website and then you got to download the template.
Yep.
And the thing I used to lock up was flash drives, because those I think they've come down dramatically in price now, but those used to just walk away all the time, and those were a little bit more expensive. Oh man, I feel like I have to go check a printer now. The thing that I ran into a couple times, it wasn't that the toner ran out, it was the waste toner cartridge that took up the spare toner that didn't get used on the paper, and when that thing was full, you could not use the printer.
Right.
It would not work.
Right.
And so I got so desperate that I would take, and you could do this on the model we had, I would take that cartridge out to the dumpster and I would shake it for about 20 minutes, and there'd be a giant thick cloud of, I'm sure, not the most friendliest powder in the air, but it would empty it just enough that we could then continue to use the printer for the rest of the day. And then I started hoarding those because my printer vendor only wanted to send us one at a time.
Right.
Which was like, how is that supposed to work? Because if it's full, it's full. So
Or just the toner cartridges. I had to have at least 1 or 2 in backup.
Yes.
Always ordering one. They're like, we don't want to send. I'm like, no, this has to, because I can't use my printer.
Yeah, I lied one time when I was like, I need 2 or 3, and then I always had, and I hid them around the office too, because somebody would find one and then I wouldn't know that they used it. Oh, so I always had a spare in my desk and then a spare somewhere else. Oh man. And the other thing too is like, I always picked vendors based on their timeliness more than their variety. Like I had an office supply vendor that was next day, and as soon as I found that, I was like, I'm sticking with you forever, because I can almost get through a day without something, but going several days or a week, that was not possible. So.
No, not at all, because nobody thinks of it until it's not there.
Right.
Harkening back to your Zebra 701s, I so want to say I would get a box of M301s as my every day for everybody, but again, it comes down to that recognition, and I don't know if everybody would go for that. But my actual question was going to be, so you've gotten a Zebra 701 for everybody, you've gotten it engraved.
Yes.
And then you, in your rounds, checking your office supplies, you find it in that cup in the closet with the person's name, who lost it or who put it back. What does that do?
Now I'm going to passively aggressively hate that person for a long time. I won't confront them. I won't find out for sure that maybe they just misplaced it.
Right.
I won't find out that side of the story. I will just in my head make up some story about how they hate me now.
Would that be worse, or would it be worse for somebody to come up to be like, could you just order me a box of these instead?
I would be fine with that.
You'd be fine with that?
That happened to me all the time. I'd be okay with that. I mean, there'd be a moment of like, well, didn't you like? But no, my people pleasing would take over for whatever sort of hurt that might have come up from that. So, yeah, I'm trying to think what else. I feel like the M701 is not a good answer now. Like, you're not going to go around handing roach rings out. I mean, maybe a Tiki, but not like a 600 or an 800, obviously. Gosh, that must be like an anniversary present. You get an 800 on like your 10-year anniversary or something.
Well, yeah, businesses would give out cross things.
Yeah.
For anniversaries and all that and engraved.
Yeah.
That's appropriate. I don't know. Get a box of Dr. Grips.
Dr. Grips would work. That would be cool. Man, I'm trying to think what else. Pentel Sharp comes to mind. The Sharp Writer comes to mind, maybe.
Yeah, those are the ubiquitous ones.
Yeah.
I think people actually would be just fine with the Bic Extra Smooth.
I actually used to order Bic Extra Smooth. There's absolutely a box of those upstairs in an office right now.
Here's a question. For an office, would you, again, for thinking of like what people would be more likely to use, would you go with a mechanical pencil or would you just get a box of the yellow Ticonderogas?
No, because the Ticonderogas, I'd have to come up with a sharpener for them as well. Sure. So I would just skip that whole thing.
That's probably what I would do too.
Yeah. But I'm thinking back and no one really requested pencils that often. I think I had one person. Does. No. I think I had one person who liked pencils, but they were so adamant about, they actually bought their own because they were so adamant about, it was the number 2, but it was like all black. I don't know.
Oh, not the clear ones.
No. It was wood, but it was like painted all black.
Oh, okay.
With like a black eraser and then there's green on the metal part around the eraser cap.
Yep, I know what you're talking about.
Or not the cap, but yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
How dare people be snooty about their
Well, it's fine if they want to purchase it themselves, you know. Yeah, how dare they have opinions
I just about pencils.
Nice. I almost missed that.
Well, if you can still stand us and want more opinions, we're always here. Check out our next episode. Let us know what your favorite pencils are always.
Yeah.
themeasuredpencil@gmail.com.
Yeah, what would you buy for your office?
What would you buy for us?
Yeah.
What would you buy for your office?
Heaven help you if we're working for you. What would you buy for us?
Yeah. Or what was the worst thing that somebody did buy for an office and you just couldn't stand it?
Yes.
Send us those stories. And until then, catch us next time on The Measured Pencil.
Goodbye.
This was The Measured Pencil with Wes Nelson and Stephen Murray. Theme song and additional music composed and performed by Josh Baumgartner. Additional production support by Two Desk Productions. If you want to see what the pencils look like, please follow us on Instagram at The Measured Pencil. If you'd like to share your pencil story, please record a short audio file, maybe 1 to 2 minutes, and email it to us at themeasuredpencil@gmail.com. Or, if you'd like us to review your favorite pencil, please email us with the name and it might appear on a future episode. Thanks for listening.